Good morning, everyone. Let's wait for a few more minutes. We expect a few people to join. So we'll start in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, we have some doubts or mass chat box. Num odd, even, percent, sequence, read line, split, index I, index 0 equal to 1 less than n. What is n? N is first input. Okay. Let number is equal to percent, sequence, index. Even plus plus, odd plus plus. Okay, what is the problem with this program? Yes, it is correct program. Please take to that place where we give inputs like without defining I, can we give direct in loop? Use let in loop. Check in group chat if you are getting wrong answer in student portal. Must be some step is missing as a result this. Let n one to n sequence percent. You are doing sequence in percent multiple times, huh? Input is multiple times. Okay, I'm getting request to do it again. So let me try run this code again. Okay, I'll do what? I'll try run this code again so that even if you have not understood, you can ask your question there. Okay, hope that helps. So this is the program where we want to find whether given number. So we will have two kind of inputs. One is first line will tell us what is the size of the sequence that is given to us. Okay, and this will be given. This will be type of sequence that is given to us in a straight line with space separated numbers. Okay, so we need to do what? We need to find display the at the final we need to return the number of odd numbers present in that sequence. So first thing we did is start a variable which basically used to count the odd numbers. Okay, Then we went there and read the first line. We called the read line. Read line does what? Read line reads the first line of the input file. Okay. So read line does what? It reads the first line. So it goes ahead and reads 5 as a string. Then we did a parseInt and it converted into integer. So value of n is 5. Okay. Value of n is 5. Then what? I came here and read the second line. What is second line? Second line is 87724 complete string, right? It is complete string. A single line will be read. All the lines, all the values present in this line will be read. Okay. So my sequence variable will have value like this. Because I have power cut issue, I wasn't able to attend today's first lecture. I won't be able to help you, but revising it, try to understand. If you don't understand, get to the power first lecture recording. Okay. So sequence will have what? Sequence will have double quotes and all the strings will be present in this. Like all the strings, all the numbers in a single line will be read and put into this sequence. Now this is a string, not a number, right? And I cannot convert directly into a number because this is not a number. So what could I do? I could split the number and get an array of strings. Instead of a single string, I'll get each number as a string, right? So this step will give me each number as a string. Now, once I have each number as a string, now I can convert this number and then I can basically check whether that number is even or odd, right? I cannot do per modulus operator on a string. That's why I need to convert this number into an integer number. As a result, what I did, I first did for a single number, that is num is equal to parseInt, first 0th index, convert it into a number and then check whether it is odd or not. If it is odd, +1. Okay, now this has to be, this 5 steps has to be done for all. These highlighted steps has to be done for all the numbers. As a result, we need a for loop. Okay, now this is I index, which is used to count the number of iteration we are having. So how many times I need to run these steps? How many times I need to run these steps? This number of steps has to be run equal to n number of times, which is given as an input to us. I need to calculate whether this number is even or odd for all the numbers present in the sequence. And how many numbers are present in the sequence? That is stored in n. We have already read and found that n number of elements are present in the sequence, right? So basically, I need to run a for loop in such a way that it runs 5 times or n times, and for every element, I should check whether it is odd or even. If it is odd, I will increment the value counter, my variable, by 1. This is what I wanted to do. Now, I can choose to start I from 1 and go till n, right? And in that case, if I do that, will I be able to use here as a sequence to count the sequence? No. Why? Because the index starts from 0. How to access the first element? The first element can be accessed with index 0, right? So if I start my I by 1, if input are different, like, yes, no, if it is a new line, then see, new line means what? I'll have to call read multiple times. Try to understand. Okay, Alex, I'll change this code. Okay, I'll change this code for new line. Okay, if the input is like this, suppose the input is like this. Okay, suppose the input is like this. Try to see the difference. Okay, try to understand why it is done. Why it is done. Now, if I go through this program, when I read the first line, I read 5. When I read the second line, what I read? Do I read like this? Do I read like this? Tell me. Only 8. So when I call this read line, basically, I'll end up reading one line, right? Single line. So I'll have to do it multiple times. What I'll have to do, I'm not getting these steps. These steps are not getting, I'm not getting these steps, right? This is not what I get. Instead of that, I'll have to call read line multiple times. So basically, these 2 steps, this and this, is not valid for this kind of input. Do you agree these two lines are not valid for input? If the numbers are present in new line, sequence is present in new lines. In that case, what I need to do, basically, instead of reading it from here, basically I will read from file itself. I do not need to do like this. I'll read from file itself. I'll read from file itself. I'll call read line. Right? Are you getting? Same thing. Instead of reading it in a single line, I'm reading it multiple times. So I'll do what? I will read from read lines. Do you understand line number 61? Give me +1 if you understand line number 61. -1. What do you don't understand in this? Initially, I was reading a complete line. Here, if I read one line at a time, if I call read line, I'm reading one value at a time, one value at a time, one value at a time. Let me dry run this code, okay? So now what happens? I come here, I read 0. I read the first line, which is n. So 5 I read here. I read 5. I come here, I initialize I. Okay. Then I come here, I run a loop from 1. I come here, I read line. I call read line. When I call read line, basically I read the second line, which is the second. 8 is the second line. So my num will become. So my num will be equal to 8. Okay. I check 8 modulus 2 is equal to 0. Yes, equal to 0. So odd number is not incremented. Count is increments 0. I go ahead. I is equal to 1. I is equal to 2. Sorry, it starts from 0, right? Let me start from 1. Or let it be 0. Not a problem. So here I starts from 0. Then it becomes 1. Then it becomes 1. Right? So I is equal to 1. I come here. I call the read line again. I call the read line again. When I call read line again, it goes and read the second line, third line. Right? A new line is read. See, if the input are in new line, you have to read the new line again and again. But if the input is a single line, I can read all the input in a single line with one read line, right? Are you able to get it now? See the difference. If I do not do this, sir, if we use less than condition, then n should be 6. It depends on the starting position also. You start from 1. You start from 1. Then you have to go till 5, right? Basic idea is that this loop should run 5 times. My main purpose is what? I should run this loop 5 times. If I start from 0, stop a number before. If I start from 1, see the interpretation. I need to run this 5 times. Okay. What is the idea of running this loop? This loop has to run 5 times. Do you agree? This loop has to run 5 times. So I can say you start from I is equal to 1. I is equal to 1. Start from I is equal to 1 and go till what? Till 5. If I do like this, what happens? How many times the loop runs? Tell me how many times the loop runs if I do like this. If I do like this, how many times loop runs? First, I will be equal to 1, right? I will be equal to 1. Less than 5, yes. 2 less than 5, yes. 3 less than 5, yes. 4 less than 5, yes. 5 less than 5, no. So it breaks here. So how many times it runs? It runs 4 times. And how many times I wanted to run it? I wanted to run 5 times. So I'll have to make some adjustment. Either you make this to start from a letter before this, or you make this run a more time. So this time it goes till 5. Are you getting? My purpose is this loop should run 5 times. So I can choose where to initialize and where to. So if I need to run it 5 times, I'll say 0. I'll say if start from 0, but you break before 5. You break before 5, right? You break before 5. Or I can say, okay, you start from 1 itself, but go till 6, right? So I can say I is equal to 1. I is less than 6. This can also be done, right? Count one more. This also runs for 5 times. How? I is equal to 1. less than 6, yes. 2 less than 6, yes. 3 less than 6, yes. 4 less than 6, yes. 5 less than 6, yes. Why yes? Because the condition is 6. So where all of these runs 5 times, all of these runs 5 times and produce the purpose for me. Basically, the body of the loop runs for 5 times. Okay. Or somebody intelligent enough to come will say, I'll count in reverse order. I'll count in reverse order. So what he will say, I'll say, you count in reverse order. Okay. You say I is equal to 5. I is equal to 5. Okay. And I need to count till I is less than 0. I is greater than 0, basically. I is greater than 0. Now see, I minus minus, I cannot do I plus plus. Then condition will be this C. If I start from negative, I should do negative minus minus. Else my condition will be infinite loop, right? So see here, I will start from 5. I is equal to 5. Less than, greater than 0. Greater than 0. Yes, it is greater than 0. The condition is, see the condition, how it changes. Depending on the initial condition, how it changes. If I want to count in reverse direction, I'll say 5. Okay, 5 is greater than 0. Yes, 5 is greater than 0. So decrement the value. If I increment the value, what happens? It goes on incrementing and it never ends, right? It will always be greater than 0, isn't it? If we take I is equal to 1 condition, then that is an infinite loop. It always be true. I is equal to 1 is always true, right? If I do here increment instead of condition, I take a assignment. This is always true, right? Always true. This will be an infinite loop. It never returns 0 until unless n is 0. If we take I is equal to 0 condition, will it increment the split function? Where is split function here? Where, from where you are getting split here? Are you talking about index? Are you talking about index? Even in previous problem, split was called only once, right? And later on, we are using index variable to access the index. Yes, in previous problem only. Split is called only once. Okay, are you getting this? So it will run I is greater than 0. Yes, 4. Yes, I is greater than 0. Decrement I is greater than 0. Yes, I is greater than 0. Yes, I is greater than 0. Yes, and here it breaks. So basically it runs 5 times, right? If I make it equal to greater than 0, if I can change it something different. If I want to run it till 1, so I'll say 1, but equal to. Then also it runs this much time, isn't it? What I mean to say is, I can do the same thing with this one. Try to get get the idea. The thing is, for loop is used to only count how many times the body of the loop will run. Sir, how to compare between given inputs? What do you mean by given inputs? More than one number? Why n is equal to 5? Because there are 5 inputs. No, this I doesn't has anything to do with 5. Let me change this 5 to 8. Okay. This input, I just need my loop to run 5 times. I just need my loop to run 5 times. So how to run it? I need to start from somewhere. Here I'm starting from 5 just to make sure that I count 5. So if I start from 8, I'll say 8, then 7, less than 2, no, greater than 2, yes, 6, greater than 2, yes, 5, greater than 2, yes, 4, greater than 2, yes, 3, greater than 2, yes, 2, greater than 2, no. So how many times the loop run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 times it ran, right? So it should be basically greater than 3. Are you getting how I'm modifying? No, sir, asking about line number 53. Yes, this and in this problem, this holds true. In this problem, the problem that we were solving here, the number of inputs, the length of the sequence is 5. As a result, we need this data. As a result, we need n is equal to 5. That's why here n is less than, since start from 0, n is less than 5. That is n. Are you getting, guys, this increment, decrement? This is just a way of counting how many times the loop should run. Okay. Now you can start from 0, go till n, or start from n and go till 0. Decrement or increment. But only thing is you should have correct condition and correct increment so that the loop runs as intended number of times. Here I need my loop to run 5 times, right? Here I need my loop to run 5 times. Notes are taking, okay. Please tell me any doubt here. Are you able to understand this? Give me +1, guys, if you have some code, same code, I'm getting error. You must have type problem. We haven't got an answer for one question practice session where no mentor to help. Could you please help to do that? Ping me over Slack. Here I won't be able to do that. I have fixed syllabus to cover. Okay. Maybe time permits, I'll ask you to provide me the question. Or ping me over Slack, I'll help you there. Are you guys able to understand this for loop condition, increment, initialization, condition, and increment? Please explain this line. Which line? Can we take ABC instead of I? Yes, yes, it's variable name. You can take whatever you want. 68, line number 68. See, while explaining the problem, I told you what we thought. Let the input sequence, this is the sequence, right? And it's given in new line every time. So in that case, what we do? We have to read the line every time. How to get this number? How to get this number? I'll have to call read line. How to get this number? I'll have to call read line. How to get this number? I have to call read line, isn't it? The read line that you have copied must be wrong. The read line code that you have copied, check that. So to do that, what I need to do? I need to call read line every time instead of reading it from the variable. Here I was reading it from a variable. Why? Because when the sequence was like this, I was able to read the complete sequence in single read line. I was able to read the complete sequence in a single line. And later I broke it into multiple strings and I started reading from there. But when the inputs is present in multiple lines, I do not need to do these two things, right? I'll have to call read line again and again and again and call a parseInt on top of that. That is the only thing I wanted to explain. So please run the code. Okay, we'll run the code. Let me see if I have all data available. This is 0 to n. 0 to n. 5 times it will run. Okay. Let us run the program. It says problem. What is the problem? Let us see. It says trim. Trim is problem. White undefined. Did I do anything? No, I didn't do anything, right? How many times the loop is running? Okay, see here. Now the difference. Understand the problem. See here. What is the problem? Okay. Try to see what is the problem. I think you also someone else hit the problem. He was asking me trim problem. Please concentrate. See, I am here having trouble. What is the trouble? See, I called parseInt, okay, one time. When I call parseInt one time, I read the first line, okay. After that, how many lines are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines are there. Where I am. I called read line, then I went here and This n is 5. N is 5. Can we combine line number 56 and 65? 56 and 7. No, 56 can be, I can do like this, okay? I can do like this. This is also possible. Okay, this is possible. But 75 you cannot combine. 65. 65 you can combine. 56 to 65. Instead of that, you can do like this. So here I did a parse int. I read the first line, then did what? I said I is equal to 0 and less than n. So 0, I read it. I read the line, parse int read line 8. Then what? Then it will go ahead and check the number of counts, right? Then it will go to the next line, which is 77. 77 will be read. I is equal to 2. I is equal to 1 basically. I is equal to 1. I is equal to 1. So I go ahead and read 77. I increment the counter to 1. It is odd number. Then I go ahead, increment to 2. 3 times I have read, right? I increment to 2 and read the third number, 24. 24. This is not an odd number. So this condition will, so this condition will not satisfy, right? So increment will remain 1. I'll come here. I'll go increment the value to 3. I'll check I is equal to 0. Yes, I is less than n. Yes, I read the fourth line, which is 24. No, not 24. What is 22? So 22 is again odd even number. So this condition doesn't help, right? So I go ahead and increment the value to 4. What is value I read? 27. I read 27. Then what? I read 27. If this condition holds true and increment the value to 2. I come here and go and increment the value to 5. This time I is less than 5. N is 5, right? N is 5. N is 5, right? N is 5. So it doesn't hold true, right? Are you getting it? Doesn't hold true. So it comes out of the loop and 2, it should print 2. Let us see what happens. Why problem? Lexical, let num. Acha, braces I have missed. See here, I missed the braces. I deleted the braces somehow. Lot of comments and everything as a result. 2 is there, right? I hope it is clear, guys. Give me +1 if you are able to understand. You were reading multiple times. When you are reading wrong number of time, I was not able to save this file. Check if you have changed the input file and saved it with this a new one. Make sure that for this code, you change the input file like this. Once explain again. Condition. Condition I have not changed. See here, condition is still less than 1. I should run 5 times. At 5, it becomes false. I is less than 5. N is what? N is 5, right? N is what? N is the first number. N is 5. So I should be, when I becomes equal to 5, this loop breaks. So here it loop breaks. Trim issue was I didn't save this file. I didn't save this file. As a result, it was reading it multiple times. but I didn't have multiple lines. As a result, it was creating the issue. Explain the if condition. Okay, if condition. If condition is, see, what is modulus? Modulus returns what? Modulus returns remainder. Yes. So when I calculate the number, I read the number as 8. I do 8 modulus 2. Remainder is what? 0. 8 modulus 2. Remainder is what? 8 modulus 2. Remainder is 0. So this condition is false, right? For this condition is false because I'm checking not equal to 0. Not equal to 0, right? So this condition is false. For an odd number like 77 modulus 2 equal to 0? No, it is not equal to 0. The remainder will be equal to 1, right? Remainder will be equal to 1. So this condition holds true. Num mod 2 not equal to 0? Yes, it is not equal to 0. This condition holds true. Are you getting it? For trim issue, if you are getting trim issue or read line issue, make sure that then how many times you are calling the read line, that should be equal to the number of lines present in the input file. Okay, because of that you are getting error. Suppose I call input file 5 times and I have only 4 lines here, so that will throw me error. Line 68, how we are going from line 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and so on, storing in num variable. Line number 68. How we are, achha, this is a loop read. See, this statements executed one by one. Okay, so let is equal to I is equal to 0. So I declare I is equal to 0. This is initialization. Okay, this is condition. Condition is executed every time. Initialization is executed only at the start of the loop. This will not execute every time. Condition will be checked every time. Okay. Then I is less than 0. This condition 0, I is 0, less than n is what? N is 5. I check the condition. This condition holds true, isn't it? 0 is less than 5. Yes, this condition is true. We gave n right, not 5, not for trim issue. We gave n right, not 5 for trim issue. I didn't got your query. Trim issue is like, make sure that you call read line same number of times. Count your read line count. 1 and here 5 times I call, right? So 6 times I call. Do I have 6 lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is correct. If it is less or more, it will create issue. Less, it will create issue. More, it will not create issue. Okay. Let us go to the next problem. I hope that will clarify more. Okay. Why we are not incrementing num variable? First, tell me why we are incrementing I variable. Why we are incrementing I variable? For loop, yes. Why you want to increment num variable? Num variable is basically keeping track of the numbers we read, right? Numbers we read. So here I am reading it from file. Whenever I read from file, num is changing, isn't it? Here, why num is not incremented? There was a question on chat. Why num is not incremented? Num is not incremented because num is not used for loop, right? It is the number denotes the number in the sequence. So I'm changing it by reading the line. This one is reading the line every time. For every iteration, every value of I less than 5, I go ahead and read the file. When I read the file, I get a number. Making sense? What if we don't use let in line number 65? JavaScript still gives you a variable, but you should not use it like that. There is a different meaning to that. You will understand that when we will cover that. Okay, different types of declaring a variable. But right now, wherever you declare variable, make sure you use let. Is it clear why num is not incremented and how num is changing in every iteration of for loop? Give me +1 if it is clear. Okay. So let us go to while loop. Okay. I hope there is no doubt now. Give me +1 quickly, everyone. Yes. Yes. Okay. So let us go to while loop. So how for loop? What is the font syntax of for loop? For, then initialization, right? Initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment. Right? This is how for loop syntax used to work. Right? For loop syntax used to work like this. Then I have this, like this, and this is body of loop. Body of loop. Okay. Now there is another loop called while loop. Okay. There is another loop called while. What while says, I will have only condition at my place. I will have only condition at my place. What I mean to say is, I will have only condition here. Okay. You do the increment before calling me. Do the initialization before calling me. Initialization. Initialization. You do the initialization before calling me. At the in the body, at the front of the while loop, you only check the condition, and at the end of the loop, you do an increment. Try to understand. We are doing. Give me a minute, guys. Give me a second, please. Sorry for that. So basically, it is same thing. What is wrong in here? So there was a question. Count is equal to 0. Declare count with let count is equal to 0 and let n is equal to %. Read line. ठीक for I is less than I. Let z read. Let z, if z is not equal to 0, count plus. Count plus. Show me the input file. Sorry, due to network, I was unable to join. Please refer to the recordings. Okay. Why there is a space in between? You should not put a space in between. Remove the space. Okay. So we had. From the first impression, it seems correct. So first line n will be read. Then I'll go ahead. And read line. First line will be read. Then I go ahead and I see 1, 2, and Z, read line, parse int, parse int, modulus 2, Z modulus 2, count plus plus. After for loop, I'm printing the count. Seems okay to me. I'll have to check once, okay? Let us check your program here. So somebody has pasted a code outside in the chat and it seems there is a problem. But I went through the code, it seems okay. Let us run this code and see why it is creating problem. It is not allowing me to copy from chat. Okay, who is this? Munna, you can connect with me on Slack. I'll explain it there. I'll check your program there and explain it to you. I'll reply there. Okay, ping me on Slack. From first impression, it seems it is correct, but still you ping me there. Okay. So let us not do it here right now. So this is the syntax of while loop. Okay, this is the syntax of while loop. So how it works? It basically breaks the for loop into multiple parts. So as we do, initialization is done only once. So it is doing before this. Condition is done at the while statement at the beginning of the loop, and increment is done at the end. Okay. So how to rearrange? So this is the code that we have, right? I can convert this into while loop. See, I'm converting this into while loop, the same program. Okay. So what I need to do? I need to do the initialization first. What is the initialization? This is the initialization, right? This is the initialization. So copy it here. Then what? While, right? And condition here. While and condition here, right? Initialization and then condition. This condition comes at the beginning of the loop. So condition will be given here. So copy the condition here. What is the condition? I should be less than n. I should be less than n. See here, right? There is no semicolon here, okay? And this increment goes where? This increment goes at the end of the loop. So increment goes at the end of the loop here. So instead of writing in a single statement, all these three statements are written. I have written same statement in but different position, like this one, initialization. So same thing I did. Initialization, semicolon, before semicolon, I put it in the beginning of the loop. Then while, then condition. What is the condition? This is the condition. And increment, I put it in the end of the loop. Okay, let me run this program. See, it worked. Are you getting the difference between for loop and while loop? Basically, there is no difference between for loop and while loop. It's just rearrangement. But there are positions, there are questions where while loop can be a better option to use. Okay. So what is that condition? I will solve the next problem. There we will understand why at some places using while loop helps us. As a execution wise, there is no difference. Okay. Execution wise, there is no difference. Are you able to get me? Give me +1 if you're able to understand. Okay. I hope there is no doubt. If any doubt, you can ask me. Please repeat. Okay, I'll repeat. Small is loop contains range or no. There is no range here. No. So I'll repeat. Okay. See here. This was the syntax of for loop. We studied in last class, right? You have understood this. Is it clear to everyone? For loop body, it should be initialization, it should be condition, it should be increment. This is increment operator, plus minus, increment or decrement. Okay, this can be increment or decrement. There is no difference between for loop and while loop. It is just way of doing it. I can do like use for loop or while loop. Just the difference is how we present it. Okay, how you present it. But there are ways, there are problems, there are situations where using while loop, any problem that is solved by for loop can be solved by while loop or vice versa. This keep in your mind. Any problem that is solved by for loop can be solved by while loop. No problem with that. To solve any problem, it is done by for or while also. Yes, any problem can be solved by for or while loop. No difference execution wise, only difference presentation wise. Sometimes presenting your problem in while loop makes more sense. That is the only thing. Am I clear? Making sense? Give me +1 if you're able to understand, guys. Very few +1 I'm getting. Why? Are you getting confused, most of you? When we will do the problem, you will understand. We'll do a problem around that. Okay. So this is how for loop is presented. What is its task? It basically executes the body of the loop till the condition holds true. Till the condition holds true. Same thing in while loop. Here also this while loop runs till the condition is true. But here initialization, condition and increment are done in the single line. It's better to write increment and decrement. Yes. Decrement. It can be either increment or decrement, right? Here also it can be either increment or decrement. Okay. So this is the syntax. Instead of initialization has the done at the beginning. Condition will be put with while loop, and increment decrement is the last statement. It should be the last statement of the while loop. Okay. So I converted a for loop. This was the for loop that I used earlier. I converted this for loop. How I converted? As you see in the definition, first I have to move the initialization at the beginning. So same thing I did. I moved my initialization, let this, copied this and paste it here. Then this is the condition. What is the condition? This is the condition. And increment is present at the end of the loop. Simple. I just converted a for loop into while loop and things work as it is. Am I clear, guys? Give me +1 if clear till now. Quickly. And I need more +1. Whoever has understood, give me +1. Yes. Thank you. Now let us go to the next problem. Okay. I'll copy the problem from previous class that I took. I don't have to write it. Okay. This is the problem statement we have with us. Okay. This is called IVRS. Control S. IVRS. IVRS. What is IVRS? Automated voice control, right? Please read the problem statement once. I'll have a glass of water and come back. Please read the problem statement and try to understand, sir, or necessary for while loop. Semicolon. Where is semicolon? See the syntax. Semicolon has to be ended. Here there is no cut semicolon, and here semicolon is not required. This semicolon is not required. Okay, this is wrong. Here we do not need a semicolon. While finishing the in statement, I need a semicolon, right? Automated voice recognition system. Yes. Read this problem. I'll come in a minute. I'll have a glass of water and come back. Okay, so let us read. We will use our 6-pointer to solve this problem. Okay, the first pointer is understand the problem statement. So let us read the problem. Chillcart is a new online shopping website and wants to build an IVR, right? The IVRS has following option: know the details of recent order, know about today's discount offer, know the balance in your account. Okay, so what it is doing, guys, is basically has 3 options. Okay, so when you call any customer care or any company, basically they directly they don't pick up the phone and then ask question, right? There is automated voice response that asks questions, gets your detail, and then transfer it to the customer care if required, right? So basically they have these 4 options available to you. So when the phone is, when you call, basically it will provide 4 options. Press 1 to know the recent order, press 2 to know the today's discount, press 3 to know the balance in your account, and 0 to exit. So until you press 0, he will not exit. He will keep on telling you these options. Okay, this is how it works. Chillcart has the data of various callers. For each call, Chillcart wants to count how many times each option was chosen. So basically a caller, how many times he chooses these options. Suppose first he choose 1, then he choose 2, then he choose 2, then he choose 2, and then he exit. So how many times the options has been chosen? 1 was chosen once and 2 was chosen twice. Yeah, thrice, right? Right? So this is what he wants to count. So how input will look like? Each line contains integer denoting the customer choice. Stop processing when 0 is entered. So basically input will be like the customer first chose 2, then chose 3, and when he chose 0, basically you should exit the program, right? When he pressed 0, we should exit the program. Now see here, we don't know when to stop until unless some value is read or input from the user. Are you able to get it? Until and unless the value is entered as something value is read, we should not, we do not want to. Are you listening, guys? No response on the chat. Able to understand this? So until and unless the user enters 0, not getting it, sir. Yes, I'm here. We are still discussing. I'll explain it. Until unless the user enters 0, we need to continue, right? We need to continue, isn't it? So a person dialed and he entered 2, he entered 3, then he can enter 4, he can enter 5, he can enter 2, then 1, 2, 1, 2, and then he can enter 0 to end, right? So once he enters, how many times he has pressed 0? How many times he has pressed 1? Did he pressed 1 any time? Break and continue will not use right now. In the next class, I'll introduce break and continue. Okay. So output, see output, type of output. 3 lines containing 1 integer each. First line should tells how many times the customer has chosen option 1. So in this example, how many times customer has chosen 1? Tell me. 0, right? That's why output is 0. Second line contains the total number of times the customer has chosen option 2. So how many times option 2 was chosen by customer? 1. As a result, 1 was displayed. How many times option 3 was chosen? Only once. So 1 was displayed. Okay. So suppose customer calls again and he press 1, then again 1, then again 1, and then press 0. So what will be the output, expected output for us? 1 is pressed how many times? 3 times. 2 is pressed how many times? 0 times. 3 is pressed how many times? 0 times, right? This should be expected output. Then suppose another customer calls and he pressed 2 first, then pressed 3, then pressed 1, then pressed 2, then pressed 2, and then press 0. In that case, what will be the expected output? 1 how many times pressed? 1 is pressed 1 time, right? 1 is pressed 1 time, 2 is pressed how many times? 3 times, and 3 is pressed 1 times. Are you able to get it, this input test cases, new test cases that we have written? Any doubt here? Basically, we need to count how many times which option is chosen by the customer who has called our customer care or Chillcard customer care. Line 55 is 3, sir. Line 55 is 3. 2 is called how many times? 2 is called 1, 2, 3. Line 2 is called 3 times. Yes, correct. Yes, thank you. Are we clear about the problem statement? Give me +1 if you have understood problem statement. Any doubt you can ask me. Okay, seems no doubt. That's good. So we know how what is problem says, right? Now we will write the algorithm for this problem. Let us write algorithm. So what is the first thing we need to do? Read the choice of user. Read the choice of user, right? Then what? Please explain problem statement. Okay, let me complete this algorithm. I'll explain the problem statement one more. Okay. Okay, let me explain the problem statement first, then we'll go to algorithm. See here what it is saying, what question is saying. Chillcard is a new online shopping website and want to build a IVRS. The IVRS has the following option. Basically, they provide any customer they call, they provide 4 options. What are the options? Press 1 to get the recent order, details of recent order. Press 2 to know about today's discount offer. Press 3 to know the balance in your account. Okay, these 3 options are provided, and the customer can press 0 to exit the call. Okay, are you getting it? So how is the input? Input is like this. So customer called and he pressed 2, pressed 3, and then pressed 0. So he ended. So how many times he pressed 1? He pressed 1 0 times, right? Please respond if you are able to understand. Lavanya. Yes. So this is what happened. So we decided, okay, let us suppose customer called and pressed 1 multiple times, 3 times, and he didn't press 2 and 3, right? So another way can be he pressed multiple times, 2 press 1, then 3, then 1, then 2, and then he exit. So basically we need to find out how many times which option is pressed. So this number donates how many times option 1, option 2, option 3 was pressed. So this donates number of times option 1 was selected. Okay, this donates number of times option 2 was selected. Number of times option and this tells number of times third option option 3 was selected. Is it clear? So I'll go back to algorithm. So first thing what I need to do, I need to read the choice, right? And I should have 3 variables, each counting the in this problem I wanted to count only odd numbers, right? I wanted to count only odd numbers, but here I need 3 variables to store the value for all the 3 options. So basically I should have 3 variables like option 1, option 1, option 2, option 3, right? And both all initialized to 0. Initially, nobody has pressed any number of times. Right? Basically, this should be your step 1. Control X. This should be step 1. Declare a variable. Then read the choice. Read the choice till 0 is entered. Try to understand. Till, can you please paste the question in chat box? Okay, I'll do that. Okay. So till 0 is entered, right? And finally display the count. Is it clear? The algorithm is clear. Give me +1 if you are agree with the algorithm. Any doubt in the algorithm? Okay. Give me a minute, guys. Sorry for the disturbance. Give me a minute. Okay. So this is the algorithm that we have. Okay. Now we want to convert it into code. So we will do it, or we will do this program in 2 ways, with for loop and without for loop. And then we will understand why while loop was helpful. Okay. Why while loop was helpful. Okay. So let us do first while loop. While loop is the correct choice for this. Why while loop is correct choice for this? We'll understand when we'll do it using for loop. Okay. So what I need to do, I need to declare 3 variables. Let option 1 is equal to 0. Do you understand why you need this option? These are just keeping track of how many times these options has pressed. How many times this option are pressed. So I have 3 variables, all initialized to 0. Okay, do you agree? Right? Second thing, what I need to do, I need to read the choice. So read line, it'll be a string, so I need to parse it into number. Excuse me. Are you all with me till now? Are you all with me? Give me +1 if everyone understands this. Till now. So what I have done, I have declared 3 variable and I have read the response, right? I have read the response. Now, when first response is read, what I need to do is I need to check whether the response is 0 or not, right? So I'll check while choice, whatever choice has been entered, is equal to 0 or not, right? So basically I should, if it is 0, I should exit. So I should check not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, then what should I do? I should check if guys, are you able to follow? Yes. Okay. If choice is what? If choice is equal to 1. If the choice is equal to 1, then what should I do? That means option 1 was pressed. Do you agree? If choice is 1, customer has entered 1. What is choice? Choice is basically the customer input, right? So if customer has input 1, basically he has opted for option 1. So I should increment this value. Then check if he has not entered this, if he has not entered this, then what should he have? Check if he has entered 2. If he has entered 2, then what we need to do? We need to increment the option 2. Else if he has entered 3, in that case, what he need to do? Increment option 3, right? Till when this will continue? So now this is for first option. We choose this for the first option, right? We did this for the first option. Now what I need to do? I need to read the second option. Increment, yes. Here I need to do an increment, right? What is increment here? Increment or decrement? What is this here? Increment or decrement? Thank you, Hit plus plus. What is this statement? How to do increment or decrement? We do not have any counter, right? Basically, choice cannot be increment. Choice should be read from the user. So we will ask user to enter again. Basically, we'll read the file again. We'll call read line again. Do you follow me? Do you follow me? Here we need to go back and choose whether choice is 0 or not. To do that, what I need to do? I need to ask him to enter again, isn't it? Not got it. Okay, I will dry run this code. Okay. Suppose this is not there. In while loop, what should we do? In previous program, what we did? At the end of the counter, we increment the counter so that this condition can become true or false, right? This condition become true or false, isn't it? Do you agree? We incremented this. If we don't increment this, the I will remain at the same position and it will never be, the breaking condition will not be hit. Similarly here in this case, if we do not read from the user, if we do not ask him to enter a new choice, so choice remains always the first choice. Choice never changes and it always remains not equal to 0 and it will be an infinite loop, isn't it? It will be an infinite loop. Let me dry run this code, okay? Let me dry run this code, then we will understand better. So input file, how input file will look like? How my input file will look like? Let me copy one of the inputs and so this is the input. Array, I have pasted this in the wrong place. Okay, yeah, this is output. Okay. This is the input, right? So let me change the input to this. I go here, let us dry run, okay? I come here, I declare 3 variable, all 0, okay? Then I read the %. When I read %, what happens? I read what? I read 2, right? I read 2. So when I read 2, I come here, my choice is 2. Choice is not equal to 0. What I do? Choice not equal to 0, right? True, condition holds true. Do you all agree? Why condition holds true? Because Right now, choice is equal to what I have read from the file. I have read 2. So value of choice is 2. 2 is not equal to 0. Yes. Then I come again and choose the value. 2 is equal to 1. No. 2 is equal to 2. Yes, this is true. So I increment the value of this one. So this becomes 1. This becomes, option 2 becomes 1. Do you agree? Give me +1 if you agree. Yes. Then I come here. Once this for loop, once this if else if is hit, next none of them will hit, it come at the end. Here I ask to choose the read the file again. I choose to read the file again. When I read the file again, what I read 3. So now when I read 3, my choice becomes 3. Do we all agree choice becomes 3 this time? Do we all agree? Any doubt here? Choice becomes 3 because I have read the file again at the end of the loop. If I do not read the file again, the choice will remain 2. The choice will remain 2. But I want to know the second input by the user. As a result, I need to read the file again. I need to read the file again. Right? When I read the file, I got 3 this time. I got 3 this time. So I come here, I check, okay, 3 is equal to 0. Choice is equal, 3 is not equal to 0. Yes, 3 is not equal to 0. So I enter in the loop. Choice is equal to 1. No. Choice is equal to 2. No. Choice is equal to 3. Yes. Choice is equal to 3. So option 3 becomes 1. Right? Then I come again. I read the file again. What is the value? 0 is the value. So my choice becomes 0. Isn't it? My choice becomes 0. Choice is not equal to 0. No. Choice is not equal to 0. So I mean equal to 0. So this condition is false. When this condition is false, I come out and break the loop. Oh, basically I need to print it here. After I come out of the loop, here you print the options. Console.log option 1, console.log option 2, console.log option 3. Any doubt in this program? Tell me. Give me +1 if you have understood complete, all crystal clear. +1. Give me +1 more, 85, line number 85. Okay. What is the doubt at line number 85? At 85, we read the file again because we want to know the next input. How to know the next input? Read the input line. Option 3 spelling. Option 3 spelling. Okay, huh. Correctly pointed out option. Yes. Run the output, sir. Yes. Let me run this program. Node IVRS input is input file. Input 3. Error. What is the error? Let us see. It says parseInt is a problem. Read line is not defined. Why read line is not defined? Because I have not copied this line of code, right? So let me copy. Let me copy the read line. Save it and run again. See, this is the expected output we wanted. Is it clear, guys? Explain line number 72 to 82, 72 to 82. 72 to, not 72. Now let me know the new lines numbers. Now line number has changed. Please tell me the new line numbers. Or is it clear? Do we have to follow indentation in while loop? Yes. It is better. Always follow indentation. It's important. 81 to 91. 81 to 91. Okay. This is just checking what is the input. If it is not 0, what is the input, right? So this is a scoreboard. Team 1, team 2, team 3. 3 scoreboards are there. Initially, I have marked them 0. So somebody scored. Who scored a run? So I'm checking. Score is choice is 1. If it is 1, increment the option 1. So option 1 will be incremented. If choice is 2, increment the option 2. If choice 3, increment the option 3. Basically, which option the user has entered, I'm checking the integer and then incrementing the value so that finally I can print how many times which option has been chosen. Are you getting it, Harshit? We need to print how many times option 1, option 2, option 3 has entered. How to know that? First, I'm checking whether it is 0. If it is 0, do not do it again. If it is not 0, then choose what he has entered, whether he has entered 1, 2, or 3. Yes, if it is clear, I'll go and do it in for loop. Are you clear with what we have done in while loop? Is it clear? Give me +1 if everyone has understood the implementation in while loop. Yes. Okay. Now let us convert the same program in for loop. Okay. Let me convert the same program in for loop. So what I need to do? See, I'll comment this one. Okay. Now, do I have any kind of initialization right now? What initialization I can do? I can choose to read the choice at the beginning of the loop. I can choose to make this is the initialization, right? Condition was checked on choice. So this is initialization, act as initialization, isn't it? Act as initialization. So I can do like this. For what? Read the read line. If it is, I do not want to complicate things. Actually, any statement can be put here. Okay. Okay, let me put it here. Let me see if you understand. What is the condition? Choice should be not equal to 0, right? What is the condition? Choice should be not equal to 0. Right? And what is the increment? No, choice plus cannot do. We cannot do plus here. Basically, we want to change choice. And how to change choice? To read the file, right? Here, choice is what? What user enters? Here, choice is what? What user enters? Let me save it and try to run it once, okay? If it runs, I'll try run this code. It runs. How it runs, I'll show you, okay? See, I did the same thing. This was the initialization for us. Choice is the condition variable, okay? Choice is the condition variable. How we initializing it? We are initializing it by reading the first input. What is the first input? I go ahead and read the file. So this is done once, right? So I did the same thing in the initialization segment. It is done once. Then whatever has been chosen, I try to check whether it is equal to 0 or not. If it is not equal to 0, we are true. We go ahead and do the task. When do the task at the end of the loop, automatically the increment part, whatever we have written here will get executed for the for loop, right? We can take input from user inside for loop. Yes. So if you want, I can remove this here from here. I can remove, see here, this can be also written like this. This can be also be written like this. I choose to not comment this here, leave it like this, leave it like this, leave it like this. And that place can be left empty for now. For empty choice not equal to 0. Like this also I can do. Space is also not required. Like this I can do. Do you understand this? I have this initialization is done before the loop. Whether I do it here or here doesn't make sense, doesn't make difference. Then condition has to be here. This is must part. This cannot be empty. Otherwise, it will become an infinite loop. And then increment is done at the end of the loop. So this line number 81 and 82 does the same thing, but presentation is different. Can we take input from user inside the loop? Yes, here I'm taking input from the user inside the loop. See, how many of you have understood this? This is just different presentation. Main purpose is it should have initialization, it should have a condition, and it should have a changing type, increment and decrement. I'll paste this complete code in chat. Try to go through it. Any doubt, ping me over Slack. I'll explain it. Okay. I hope you are able to understand. This is very interesting, right? When I was starting learning coding, I was very excited to see this. Oh, it is like that. I can put a semicolon here and I can choose not to do it. Sir, we can't copy it from. Okay. In that case, you ping me over Slack. I'll paste this code there, or I'll do it right now. I'll paste the code there. Okay. I'll paste directly. I hope you guys are able to understand, right? Give me +1 if you are able to understand what I have discussed till now. For loop and while loop. Sir, C condition. Is it interesting? Are you finding it interesting? If you are able to, if it is able to excite you, I really think I am doing my part. So thanks if you are able to understand this. So read line is working as increment, right? Yes, here for us, read line is acting as an incrementer. Because it is changing choice. And we are checking choice every time. Okay. You also studied from 10x. No. I have 11 years of experience. I have total 11 years of experience in automotive domain. So 10x is recently started, right? No, you cannot do choice plus plus. If you do choice plus plus, see here, see the difference. There is a question, can we do choice plus plus? If you do choice plus plus here, see here. If you do choice plus plus here, what will happen? What will happen? Tell me. The choice value, which is 30, which is 2 here, will increment to 3. Will increment to 3. Do we want that? Do we want that? No, we want to read from user. What will be the user input? Right? We cannot do like that. We cannot increment choice because it will just increment the value it has previously had. I do not want that. I want to read it from file. Yes, for loop, I'll explain again. Please concentrate. Where I was here. So I come here, I declare 3 variable. As we discussed, I need 3 variable to count how many times this option has been pressed. Then I read the what? I read the value input. I read it. Then I go and I can use either of these 3 representation. These 3 all are correct. So initialization is done here. So I will choose that whether it is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, I'll go ahead and check what it is. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Depending on that, I'll increment the value. At the end, I read the file again. Okay, I read the file again. So what is the input? 3 is the input. 3 is the input. So choice become 3. I come here, I check choice 3 is not equal to 0. Yes, it is not equal to 0. Again, I'll come and choose which option has been selected, and depending on that, I increment 3. Again, I go ahead and read the file. What is the file now? 0. So once I read 0, basically this condition holds false. And we come out of the loop and we printed the value of these options. Option 1 is 0 because we have not hit it any time. Option 2 and option 3 will be written one time. I have pasted the code over thread, Slack thread. Please copy from there. Any doubt, you can ping me directly. I can see a lot of people has pinged me. I'll reply one by one to them. Okay. Okay, guys. So we'll stop here. Let's meet tomorrow. We will discuss break and continue keyword and some more topics related to loop. Okay. Hope you are excited to join me tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Hope it was enjoyable. Thanks. Bye now. Yes, practice. Practice makes you perfect. Until unless practice, you won't be able to understand things. Okay. Bye.